Working? Alright, cool. So hey, my name is GX or BPAN, whatever you like to call me, and this is gonna be part of my lecture series just on like helping people pretty much understand what they're doing and just getting their business off the ground, like developing interpersonal skills and stuff like that. Um, this is actually the first time I'm doing it because as you can see, here's my trusty whiteboard and the easel in the back. Obviously, it's pretty hard for myself doing this because it's mostly 100% like self-motivation, Nobody pays me to do this, Nobody wants me to do this. I'm just doing it on my own. So how I got all this information, I do a lot of book reading, especially on leaderships and, other philosophy, stuff like that, yeah. Yeah. But anyway, today's topic is the dynamics of reactive and proactive, which, yeah, I'll write this is proactive and reactive. Hopefully you can see my handwriting very well. I'll work on it. But, you always see that there's that proactive person and there's that reactive person, right? So, to get a sort of good understanding of the difference between the two, we have to know something, a term called the, how do you say? Term called gravity or the wind. Now in our daily lives we get a lot of, ooh, man, I just realized I wrote that, slanted. But anyway, in our daily lives we actually get a lot of stimulus, right? We get stimulus from like pretty much what we eat, what we do, people we talk to, and stuff like that. The collective stimulus contributes to what we call stress. And stress, stress is sometimes good. It depends on what kind of stress, really. But most of the time, it's stress due to obligations, especially in terms of like to other people. So, your teacher gives you an assignment and it's due tomorrow. Your parents say, hey, you gotta do some chores, you gotta wash the dishes. Your boss says, you gotta get this report done, or you gotta make this phone call done, and stuff like that. That pretty much contributes to our stress. And now you're probably thinking like, no duh, right? Well, anyway, all that collective sort of like stimulus is called gravity or the wind, which is basically everything outside of yourself that you just take in. And the thing about that is that reactive people, right, they tend to respond like go with the flow, sort of like, okay, so you got an assignment due and they're like, oh man, I gotta do this assignment, stuff like that. For proactive people, right, they're thinking, pretty much, I could do the assignment, or I could not. They feel like they have more power or more, or less obligation to, they make their own decisions. These guys, they have a lot more control in their lives because how they view things is that they view that, they don't really have that much of an obligation. Whereas reactive people, like, they feel like they have an obligation. Reactive people also feel that, they don't have as much power within them. Whereas proactive people have a lot more power within them. Like, they have a lot more self-control or control over their own actions. And one of the important differences is that reactive feel like they can't influence the gravity or the wind, while proactive people feel like they could. They sort of have some sort of influence over it. So for proactive people, you have pretty much the whole world stress here. I don't know if this shows. And you get their smiley face, right? The proactive people, they feel like they can influence pretty much the wind or the gravity. If you take the circle as sort of like everything, they feel like they can influence everything. For reactive people, whereas, they feel like, they get influenced by everything. They can't really make their own voice or judgment. And that's mainly the difference between reactive and proactive. And another thing to add is that reactive people tends to say like, I can't control anything, or it's their fault, it's other people's fault, or it's like the environment's fault. It's like it's not my fault that I'm stuck in this bad situation. Proactive people, on the other hand, tends to feel that um, they tend to feel like if they ever mess up, it's probably their fault, and they can do something about it. Obviously, that's a totally difference in mindset. Um, what's more interesting is that I guess you can see it as in this example. Reactive people, a teacher gives you a test, right? Or an essay. Teacher gives you an essay due tomorrow. Reactive people feel like, oh shit, man, I gotta get this essay done. Proactive people think, oh shit, I get to get this essay done. Do you sort of see the difference? I gotta get this essay done, and I get to get this essay done. One's more of a choice thing, because they feel like they have a lot more power or control. Well, anyway, that's just one of the basics that I learned so far. Obviously, I'm going to keep updating as I learn more about it. But of course, check in with me next time. Okay, now I sound like those, standard YouTube people. But yeah, definitely something to look into. Alright, so I think that's pretty much for today. If you have any questions, just let me know. And I'll try to figure things out, but I'm learning myself because it's actually my first time doing this. So, alright, see you later.